Alright, sorry about that. This is part 3. I did not know that it would cut off right then because I wasn't paying attention. And then my brother decided to mess up and lose all the work that I had done on it. So actually I finished this piece, but I'm going to show you from where we left off just a short version of how to do it. Okay, so last thing we did was we made this light layer, and now we hit it and we're going to select the next layer underneath that. And this one we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to color and brightness, contrast. You can also do this through curves or all kinds of other things to get all kinds of other effects, but for this I just do shadows normally. Okay, so we're going to turn the brightness way down. It's again better to go darker than not dark enough. And I think it looks pretty good, about like that. Alright, so now we've got our 3 layers. We've got our light layer, our dark layer, and our medium layer. The next step is to go to these layers, and then you right click the layer and you select add layer mask. Then a box is going to pop up asking you what kind of a mask you want, and you're going to click black full transparency and add, and you're going to do that for the next one too, the same kind. Alright, now it looks like both of those layers are invisible, but actually they are not. They're just hidden behind a mask. So first we're going to do the shadows, and I'm not going to do the whole picture because, like I said, I already did the whole picture before. I'm just going to show you how, to start doing it. Okay, first we're going to select where we want our light source, and I picked for my light source to be over here. So keep that in mind whenever you're figuring out where to shade. Select the paintbrush tool, and then a paintbrush shape that is, depending on the area, we're going to do the arm first. So we would want one that's about half the size of the arm. Okay? And make sure it's 0 for the hardness, and spacing you can mess around with to figure out what you like. Okay, so now over here where it says that we're using black and white, which if you're not using black and white, you can easily change it to black and white by pressing D. We're going to switch the foreground and the background by pressing X, because the thing that we're drawing on is actually black, and we want to draw with white. Okay, so go over here to your layers and make sure that you have the shadow layer and you're clicking on the mask, not actually on the layer. So there should be a white line around the black box. Okay, now you can start drawing. Just find places that you want to define a little more, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see this better. And on the GIMP you zoom in by pressing the plus button. Just see how it adds a nice shadow, and don't worry about going to the white because there's actually no white on this layer. That's just the background layer right here. So you're just coloring the picture, and that's why we did that part. And then, like I said, I was going to make it look like there's actually arm there, or connecting part there with the shadows. So pretty much you just want to pay attention to whatever shape that you're and make sure to shade around accessories and things like that where the light would make a shadow. And then if you want to do some muscle definition, you can always just shade in where the shadows would be on the muscles. And then also, if you see something that you don't like, there are two ways to fix it. You can use your smudge to smudge either the lightness back into the dark, or you can smudge the dark out to where there's more dark, like this. That's also a good way to fade it, because in order for it to look more natural, you always want it to kind of fade into the medium layer. And if there is some runoff on a place that you later want to make lighter and not darker, then you definitely want to make sure that you get rid of it, that you are not using it on this layer. So you press X to change back to black, and you just paint over it, which right here you can't see. So there, see, I'm just putting the mask back on. I'm just covering it back up. And then, of course, on the GIMP, you can press Control Z to undo as many times as you want. And real quick, I'm just gonna do a really sloppy job because I don't feel like redoing the whole process twice. And I would do the neck, the chin. Make sure you do under the hair, where there'd be shadows. And depending on how dramatic you want the picture to be, you can, make the shadows more defined, softer, or whatever you feel like. It's really your artistic call. And I'm not going to do a little, usually I would, I got more in depth with the hair and whatever, where the shadows would fall for that. But I'm not going to do that right now. And then for the hat, I want a much bigger brush. Right there, I'm taking some of the shadow away because my light source is over here, so it would show up right here and not up here. And then I did the hands before, but I'm not going to do the hands right now because, yeah. I also did some shadows underneath the lip, and I did some for the lip rings, actually, and all that. And another good way to make shadows is to just put a dot where you want, like, the darkest part of the shadow. Put a couple dots, and then take your smudge brush and just smudge it out towards the lighter areas. You can also do that to change the shape of the thing. And it's really a powerful way to change a whole feature. I mean, I could change the way this whole nose looked just by adding shadows in certain areas. So, usually also I would shade around the eye a lot to keep it more defined. Alright, so back out. This isn't fully done, but if we hide this layer, we can see the difference between the flat picture that we started with and adding a little depth. So keep in mind that I would have done the hand too, and just do it until you feel that it's done. And also, if you think this is too much shadow, you can go up here to the opacity, right up here, and play with that slider. So there's 0, there's a little bit of shadow, more shadow, and this is the full shadow, and I like the full shadow, so I'm going to keep that. Alright, now you can hide that layer.